After that eventful road trip, it's finally time to pack up and move out to the farm. This particular vehicle is going to be actually a 2-in-1. One little scout that takes very little fuel to run, and sort of a main base that'll carry everything else, including the collectors and the refiners. I'll start out by building a small folding go-kart that's going to use an upgraded engine and a motorcycle seat that I found, I think, in a gold chest some time ago. And going to use up a big part of my scrap metal in bearings, since I'm going to need a lot of them for the go-kart, and then a few more for the main base itself. Use a controller to actually control the unfolding of the whole thing. Hook it up to a switch. Upgrade it because I realized that I don't have nearly enough connections on a level 1 controller. And a little bit of reconfiguring later, I can set these bearings to 45 degrees and test the unfolding of this part of the mechanism. Everything moves how it's supposed to in the direction that it's supposed to, so I can finish up the mechanism by adding a few more elbows and some suspension. Welding a cart to a small pillar allows me to work on it while it's unfolded. So I hook up the rest of the bearings, make sure they turn the right way, and at this point I wanted to make it lower and wider, but quickly changed my mind because I realized that it was going to put the wheels at interesting angles and might have made steering a little, tricky. At this point I can mount the little spacers on the back and the little spacers on the front with bearings on them, since I cannot mount bearings directly to the springs. And now I have a use for all those small wheels I've been collecting. Hook up steering bearings, hook up all of the drive bearings, take a car off its little pedestal, do a little more tweaking to the suspension, refuel the engine, and it's time for a test drive. With it feeling nice and stable, I can start working on the main platform. Now my resources are still somewhat limited, so I'm going to use wood for the most of it, but surround it with much more sturdy metal. And now that I know that the scout car is 5 blocks wide, I can plan ahead for where to put everything, including the collector and the refiner. Now this refiner is a bit picky about how it pulls in the materials, so I went and got a log for testing. And it's a good thing I did, because where I had the refiner originally, it would not pick up from the collector. Mounting the two side by side took care of that and gave me more room on the platform. In particular, more room for some chests and the craftbot loop that allows it to work continuously, recycling stuff it made before. With that sorted out, I can make a parking spot for the scout. It is 5 blocks wide, although I'm going to give it 6, just so it doesn't get stuck. Since I have plenty of room on some chests towards the back of the machine, I can mount the bed there, then continue to rearrange some things, and mount the seat towards the front. And at first I used my strongest tier 3 metal to make a little pedestal for a seat, but quickly changed my mind and built sort of a handrail to keep any potential robots from getting up on the platform and breaking something. After finishing all that up and building some basic steering suspension mechanism for the front, it's time to see how well a Scout actually fits on the platform. And it fits great width-wise, but it's a little too long. Stiffening up the suspension lifts up the front of a platform, and now I can extend the front a little bit to make a Scout fit. To make loading and unloading easier, that extension also includes a ramp. that is controlled from the main seat. To fold it up and keep the Scout from moving too much by locking it in place. Now that I have most of my stuff packed up, the only thing I need is a cookbot. When the time comes, he will make me a delicious victory burger. So far this truck seems to handle pretty well, and the little Scout car seems to stay in its little spot, not bounce out or anything. Oh, wow, that's 3 robots on a road. Never seen that many in that particular spot. Usually there is just one tote bot. Now I'll drive around them, and it's open road from there on out. Now that I have arrived, I can take a Scout car, unfold it, and drive it all the way uphill to a small farm that I have set up off camera. Other than the beautiful view, up here I have a platform with some supplies, some crops, and a water container that I can refill the bucket out of to water the crops. However, one thing is still missing. And to get said thing, I have to go all the way back to the crashed spaceship to recover it. And that thing is the microwave. Sure, it only has one storage space, but it's perfect for keeping my victory burger fresh. And speaking of the victory burger, coming back to the farm, I can pick up the Scout on the lift and carry it across the bridge. And I do hear a robot here. I think it's a haybot. I'm not seeing it just yet. Anyway, put the Scout in a safe place. Grab a water bucket. And crops are going good. And let's go find that robot. See what's going on. Not on this side. Oh, there it is. Get off my lawn. I think a raid happened while I was gone, but since the farm is up here on the hill, the robots can't reach it, and so they don't bother it. Anyway, refill the water bucket, pick up a blueberry, plant the seeds, and as that one video from years ago said, what are those? Oh crap, this is stupid. I might as well fertilize. I have plenty of fertilizer. And I think I have those fertilized as well. Yeah, I think I do. And some crops are grown, so pick up the tomatoes. Well, while it's doing its thing, I think I'll build a table for the microwave. Put a few sunshakes on it just to make it a meal. And finally, put the burger in the microwave. Some time has passed and here I am at the vegetable packing station to package my first couple of crates of tomatoes. To deposit them, I'm going to need a simple circuit consisting of a crate, a vacuum pump set to output. Of course, the tomatoes that I'm going to be packing. Then I'll need a timer and a couple of logic gates and a switch. Make a simple logic circuit with an AND gate, a NOR gate, and a timer. Loop them, they start flashing, hook up AND gate to the switch, set the timer to a few seconds, and hook one of the gates up to the vacuum pump. Tweak the timing because it takes packing station a little bit to actually process the input, and putting too much in too fast just results in a loss of produce. Shortly after, the second crate is packaged. Now that the chest is empty, I have 6 spare tomatoes in the packing station, so I can take apart the circuit to reuse it elsewhere, and figure out a way to hold the crates. And honestly, first impressions are it handles pretty well. It's still fairly fast, and with a wide wheelbase, it's not trying to tip over. Suspension is doing great at stabilizing it. So, yeah, that seems like... Ooh, a chest. Yeah, this seems like a pretty good way of transporting a couple of crates at a time. Oh, so that's why people don't do what I do. It's too much reconnecting and whatnot. Anyway. Orange seeds? Nah, great, I need 3 tomato crates, not 2. I have packaged up 1 more crate of tomatoes and a couple of crates of blueberries. So let's see if this car can carry all 3. And the answer is... yes. So far so good. And definitely more than enough to deliver the crates all the way to the trader. With these crates delivered, I can finally trade the tomatoes for orange seeds, grow them, package them, deliver the oranges, and finally I can trade everything in for a spot gun, completing one of the challenges of this run.